The throne is yours. I have grown weary of this empty power. Take it if you wish. I promise to serve and guide you as your sensual until you grow comfortable with your position. So, who among you shall rule?
Welcome to the Forgotten Realms, home of Baldur's Gate 3. Today, we'll be talking about Jergal, the great scribe and the original god of death, before he succeeded his position to Kelemvor at least. So today, let's learn about Jergal and who Withers really is. In this episode, we'll be using a variety of sources, including official materials, official fictional materials, online sources, D&D communities, and years around the table. If I'm quoting a specific source, it'll pop up in that lower left-hand corner. If not, then I'm paraphrasing a mixture of sources like an academic essay. And you'll find all of these sources in my description in MLA format. And before we snap on that snorkel and dive right in, be sure to give that like button a hit if you want more content like this. And don't forget to subscribe for more juicy lore. But also to vanquish our YouTube overlords who have so rudely decided that only 10% of returning viewers are ever going to subscribe. And now that we've shown our YouTube overlords who's boss, let's grab our cozy drink and settle in, because I'm about to go a little deep. So who is Jergal? Jergal was the original god of death. However, he grew weary of his power more than once and decided to succeed himself. He then became essential for Kelemvor, the Lord of the Dead. And at some points in history, he was also essential for Cyric and Merkel. Originally, Jergal's title wasn't as the Scribe of the Dead or even the Final Scribe, but rather the Lord of the End of Everything. There is no exact outright linking between them stated in the Forgotten Realms, but personally, Jergal kind of reminds me of the god of death and war in Sumerian and Babylonian lore, Nergal, especially considering that Jergal gave up his power, and Nergal was seen as being a much more passive god after his marriage to Ereshkigal, who became the queen of the underworld. Jergal is frequently depicted in the Forgotten Realms as a member of an ancient alien race. He was seen to have praying mantis features, but a wizened, mummy-looking body, like an insect meets a black and white horror movie about mummies. So, what is Jergal's history? Well, during the time of Netheril, Jergal was a greater deity himself. He held the portfolios of death, murder, and strife. After eons of power, he grew bored and disillusioned with his power, so he allowed 3 mortals to pick up his portfolios. Bane, who took the portfolio of strife, Merkel, who took the portfolio of death, and Baal, who took the portfolio of murder, known to everyone as the Dead Three, who were originally mortals, but through this act ascended to godhood. And this lasted until the end of the Second Sundering. So, what is the Second Sundering? Well, to understand the Second Sundering, first, we have to talk about the First Sundering. Well, long ago, around negative 17,600 DR, the First Sundering took place. A high elven magical ritual that went both forward and backward in time. This prehistoric catastrophe was known as the Tearfall, and it created Evermeet. The original goal was to summon a piece of Arvandor, which is where Corleon holds the elven souls before they reincarnate, and bring that into the prime material plane. And this left Evermeet, which is also known as the Green Isle. It is the last true kingdom and the hopeful destination of all non-drow elves. Think of it as a parable to the island of Fae and some northern European mythologies. The Second Sundering, however, started with Ao recreating the Tablets of Fate. His goal was to separate the worlds of Abir and Torel once more. In 1482 DR, Abdel Adrian, a ball-spawn, was attacked by his sibling. The act of joint slaughter of kin caused the Lord of Murder to rise again, and Baal reclaimed the portfolio of murder from Cyric. This return and sundering brought back many deities to their pantheons who'd been presumed missing, dead, or forever powerless. A few examples are Mistra, Baal, Merkel, and Tyr, but there are many, many more. It also negatively impacted some gods, like Shar, who lost followers and power. While in contrast, there were other gods who benefited from it, like Veyron, who regained their powers and their portfolios. Jurgol, however, did not choose to rise to his original powers during the Sundering. Although he still had powers that never faltered, he chose not to maintain any of his portfolios. So, did you know that Withers is Jurgol? Or at the very least, an avatar? There are many things that lead people to claiming this, and at this point, it isn't even a secret anymore. For starters, he was entombed in the Dank Crypt, which was a shrine that was built for Jurgol, in a tomb that was meant for Jurgol. Additionally, Jurgol is known as the final scribe, and Withers is constantly writing and able to bring people back from the dead through the scripting that he is doing. However, although it's not outright said in the game by a character to another character, it is, in a way, very clearly stated in the game. And that would be in the code. During data mining, there were dialogues and dialogue notes that were data mined by modders that referenced Withers as Jurgol. However, the biggest data mine was in not only the dialogues but the texture for the model, as it's named Skell-Hum-M Jurgol, standing for skeletal human named Jurgol. As well, there are also many places where updates were not made, where there are triggers and interaction codes that reference Withers as Jurgol. So all of that to say, regardless of if a character says it with their own lips, he is, in fact, Jurgol. And that, my darlings, is the story of Jurgol, the scribe of the dead, aka Withers. Now, I can't let you go without mentioning my newest book, which comes out on May 1st, 2025. It is a dark, spicy vampire romance. It is poly and enemies to lovers. Kelly burst through the doors of her room. I heard her flip the lock, thinking it might save her. That's adorable. I broke all of the locks when I arrived. Kelly. I let my voice slither through the penthouse, low and haunting. It echoes with purpose, sliding under doors, down halls, into the corners of her trembling soul. She won't be able to tell where I am. That's the fun part. I know exactly where she's run. I let her run. She thinks she's clever, pressing herself to the edge of the door, hiding from sight like a trembling little shadow. But I can smell her. The sharp spike of adrenaline in her sweat, the shallow, rapid pull of her breath. I can taste the fear curling in the air around her, a heady, electric scent that betrays her body's confusion. It's not just fear that clings to her skin. It's curiosity. And thank you for being here with me today, because writing and gaming, they're my passions. And with subscribers like you, I get to share those passions. So I hope I'll see you again in the next one. And good night, darling.
And now you're all mine. And I'm all yours. Until morning, at least.